We are Popcorn, Piss, and Vinegar, giving you a raw take on movies, television, and pop culture. My name's Chris.
I am Scott.
I am JB4.
So before we kick off the show this week, I got a chance to see Corey Feldman at Southport Hall here locally. Southport Hall, down here in New Orleans, Louisiana. And it's pretty much exactly what I expected it to be. I showed up there. He ran out on stage. He had his, Victoria's Secret models up there holding guitars and shit.
Speaking, I heard the guitar player was pretty.
The guitar player was
cue.
fucking shredding, boy.
Yeah.
She was good, man. But I couldn't really hear any of the vocals. It just sounded like bass and like a mishmash of like fucking bad synthesizers and pitchy vocals. I couldn't hear his vocals at all, but it pretty much was what it was. We showed up there and it was fucking packed. I mean, slammed.
That's what I heard.
Shoulder to shoulder. By song 4, you could easily maneuver up to the middle of the floor. Everybody either left or they were outside smoking cigarettes because they got to see the splendor, of Corey Feldman.
That's all they
hitting
needed
the
is
stage.
like a 15 to 20 minute splendor shower, and that was it.
So,
I mean, hey, who cares? They paid the cover. They
Absolutely.
got it. That dude made cash, and
$20, 10 minutes, rock and roll,
Yeah, but he went pretty late, right?
He had played for 2.5 hours. Dude, come on, man.
15 minutes of which were monologues.
Probably 30 minutes of it was monologue, probably. I stayed for like maybe 40 minutes. I watched into it and all that shit. And then I had to tend to my fiance. She hit that fucking white Zinfandel like a motherfucker. So, yeah, so that was pretty much it.
She wouldn't have remembered the rest of the concert anyway.
I don't really think she gave a fuck at that point. So, and I didn't give a fuck from the beginning. So
Right.
as far as it was concerned, I was ready to go. But hey, look, congratulations to our friend Mark Bagnetto, who is the proprietor of Southport Hall. And he did very well on that show, and made a lot of people happy, and that's all that counts.
Yeah, he should have some more has-beens like the VH1 rehab tour.
I think the Corey. I think there were, and this is what works for that dude. There are enough videos going around of that dude's show.
Oh yeah,
That people were like, I need to see what's going on.
Look, if Charlie Sheen does Tiger Blood, he should do Southport Hall. If Charlie Sheen is a band called Tiger Blood.
Oh right.
Oh yeah. I think that would be a good move for him. He could
Me
reinvent
too.
himself.
Yeah.
As long as he dresses like Ricky Vaughn from Major League.
That's
Fuck,
exactly right.
I'm
Yeah.
all in.
Yes.
Instead of trying to reinvent himself by going in a dramatic tack, he's in some 9/11 movie that looks almost like Community Access.
Dude, Hot Shots. Make a Hot Shot sequel
There you
where
go.
he goes and he chases down fucking Bin Laden. Even though Bin Laden died, we can do
Right.
like an alternate future to where Topper Harley
Yeah.
goes after him to try to kick their ass.
Yeah, this trailer is so bad. I'll show it to you. Speaking of trailers,
This is real.
Yeah. Speaking of trailers, the only big trailer that really launched this week was Stephen King's It. Everybody sat there and said, "Oh, it's so scary." I wasn't scared by it at all, but I will say this: the production value looks awesome.
Yeah,
It looks
does.
fucking good.
It's not the trailer I read from Comic-Con though. Whatever they showed at Comic-Con wasn't this.
I saw a leaked version of that trailer, which was pretty. It wasn't a really high quality trailer, but I did see the Comic-Con trailer, and it had a little bit of more gore to it. This was definitely a PG, a general audience trailer. It wasn't Red Band or anything. What they showed at Comic-Con was definitely a Red Band trailer. But yeah, man. I mean, it looks fucking good, and I love the book. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I think I'm going to go do this probably at 10 o'clock in the morning.
It's like the first half of the book, though, right?
Right. This is only the kids. This is
Right.
not the adults.
Yeah, it's a pretty thick book, the original. I mean, it's probably about maybe a good 500 or 600 pages. I mean, it's got a pretty little bit amount of girth to it, and that's what it is. It tells a story at the time, from future, from present tense. The book was written in the 80s, so
Right.
You have the characters that are adults in the 1980s, but it goes back and goes to the 50s. And Stephen King, who had a literary shared universe, with Castle Rock.
Yeah, he was
and,
doing it before anybody.
he kind of had that shit plugged in, and there's a lot of references to his other books. Yeah, Shawshank Redemption is well, Shawshank Prison is heavily talked about in the book. And also another thing too, which is kind of a side thing. He did a movie based on his book Needful Things in the 90s.
Yeah.
I read the book when I was at college, way before the movie even came out. And what was pretty cool is that the guy, do y'all know the basis of the story, like of Needful Things? It's essentially the devil or the man in black from the Gunslinger series, you know, from Dark Tower.
Okay.
He comes in and he's cutting deals with everybody basically to get access to their souls. Well, what ends up happening is his number one henchman that he uses to like send around and fuck people up is Ace Merrill from Stand By Me, that was played by Kiefer Sutherland.
Okay.
Yeah, that was in the book. They couldn't put that in the movie because Stephen King's works have been shared, you know, through so many different studios.
Right.
But we may end up seeing that in Hulu's Castle Rock series that's coming up. So
Interesting.
So pretty cool.
All right.
But yeah, definitely looking forward to it. Sorry for the you know, for the dragging along there.
It's a side quest. That's okay. I mean,
somebody's
Stephen
texting
King,
me. All right. So Dunkirk opened huge for a war movie with $50 million. It won the box office, you know, last weekend. But its second week, it might be held off by the Emoji Movie. And I did some reading on this. This fucking thing does not have one positive review, and it has scored an unprecedented 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I looked it up yesterday or Friday, and it moved up to 3%.
Oh, okay, good.
Oh.
So, you know, but still, though, I mean, sitting at 0 for a while, they say no movie has ever scored that. So,
well, it's
terrible. It's exactly what you think it would be. I haven't seen it. I'm just saying. It's an emoji movie.
Yeah. Did your daughter want to see it?
There were suggestions of her going, and I hammered it right out. Nope, no, we're not. I'm not paying money for that.
Here's the thing. I can't really sit there and think, you know, oh, well, an emoji movie is a horrible idea. Yeah, like everybody said about the Lego movie.
I said
right.
it. I'll
So
be
they
the
could have
first.
did something creative with the emoji movie. But from what I read, the reviews that I read, it was basically joke with no storyline. So they were relying more on one-liners and, you know, T.J. Miller, who is, you know, pretty popular right now.
Yeah.
They were kind of, I guess this was kind of like a piece for him.
His
you know,
vehicle.
Yeah, like a vehicle for him, and it just didn't, they said it just didn't work out.
They all can't be winners.
Right.
Correctamundo. All right, Joe Russo, one half of the sibling team that is written and is directing Avengers 3 Infinity War, was asked of the rumors involving main character deaths in the upcoming movie. His quote was, "My brother and I believe in stakes. I believe that everything has to have an end at some point to have value. The audience should be prepared." I have no doubt that they're going to kill off characters, but I'm kind of like totally on Team Scott here with this. They're going to use the 1990s storyline from Captain Marvel to build in a lot of things to where people might not be dead. They were just Skrulls the entire time. So
I could go either way.
Yeah.
While I like that idea, I also do like a finite ending.
Me
'Cause
too.
I agree with
Yeah.
I agree with the fact of it does give it value.
Me too. And it only gives it value if characters die and they do not come back.
Correct.
I mean, I know that that's kind of a thing in comic books, but there are some legendary deaths that have happened in comics to where the characters have never returned. The biggest example is Kraven the Hunter from Spider-Man. That was a huge story that was in that comics, probably like one of his top 10 stories of all time. They killed off Kraven and he never returned. They never brought him back.
I mean,
So-
some of these actors aren't going to be able to do that forever.
that's-
Like,
Yeah.
it's interesting because Robert Downey Jr. has been sort of alluding, you know, I wouldn't leave the franchise unless it was in tip-top shape. That being said, like you've said, Chris, he could be, you know, Stark to old age and just sort of be the kind of, you know, de facto shield head and aid any other, you know,
he could be what he
aspiring
was in
superheroes.
Spider-Man 3.
Exactly.
Well,
Or,
in
I
the
mean,
comic-
Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah,
in the-
that's it. Whatever.
In
you
the
know.
comic books, he actually became the Secretary of Defense
Right.
and led SHIELD. So I mean,
Right.
he actually had a presidential cabinet thing. You
Yeah.
know,
I
kicking.
think if anybody's going out, if like somebody like him's going out, it's because he wants to leave on a high note and
Yeah.
I'll be done with it.
I think that's part of it too. I think that's part of it. But I think what another part of it is also is, man, is that they're paying these guys out big money now, so they have to kind of shred shit a little bit so they can afford all these fucking people.
Downey gets a percentage though, doesn't he? Because he kind of helped found the whole franchise.
He gets a percentage, but the thing with it is that he also gets a big upfront payday too.
Okay.
So, I mean, like Captain America 3, he wasn't even like a featured character in the title, but played a main, and he made $40 million for that movie. So he's definitely the highest paid, and he also did a lot of campaigning to get the other people paid. So,
right.
You know, so I mean, that's it. But I think that's part of it too, is that they're going to start interchanging their actors now, create new characters,
save a
little money. You know, and also, you know, give a little bit of gravity to these movies by killing off some of the popular characters.
Yeah,
I'm in.
So, all right, we've also been given running times for both Infinity War and Thor 3 Ragnarok. Infinity will have a time running of 2.5 hours, and Thor 3 will be 1 hour and 40 minutes, which is the shortest running time of any Marvel movie.
Smart.
Yeah, I mean, cool, man. Look. Keep it lean and mean.
Yeah.
There's no need to drag it out any. You know, I mean, if you got a lean and mean story, cool, man.
Thor is the consistently lowest scoring performer in terms of people's lists of what their favorite movies are.
Yeah.
In the Marvel universe, and I think it's smart to make it funny, entertaining, put some life into it, and make it short so you can have more screenings.
Well, it's Guardians of the Galaxy 3, from what I see.
That's what it looks like to me too. Yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll see how it turns out. All right, so it's believed that the reshoots for Joss Whedon, it's believed that the reshoots that Joss Whedon is doing for the upcoming Justice League movie costs a whopping $25 million, which is 2 to 3 times higher in costs for movies typically with this type of budget. Zack Snyder will remain as the top billed director for the movie, but as we reported, Whedon will probably receive a co-director credit. It's also confirmed that, you know, he's receiving a producer credit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if it's $25 million, the rumor is true that they probably have enough money. I mean, they probably have enough footage to create 2 entirely independent movies.
Like Rogue One.
Wow.
You know?
Rogue One, from what my understanding is, it's only the 3rd act that got reshot. But but another example with this also is going to be the Han Solo movie. You know, one thing that happened back in the 80s is that when they filmed a remake, not a remake, when they filmed a sequel to Superman, Superman 2.
Yeah.
Richard Donner went and filmed the movie, and there was a lot of, bullshit with the with the production team. He ended up leaving the property. Somebody else came in 30, 40 years later. You know, they come out with a DVD that's called the Donner Cut.
I have that.
And it's his version of the movie. I don't think you'll ever see that out of Star Wars, but never know. As time goes on, as time does with the WB, you might see a Zack Snyder cut of Justice League come out 20 or 30 years from now.
It's possible. I've read that Joss Whedon's reshooting a lot of dialogue stuff, which has always been his bailiwick.
Oh,
so, And a lot of the production cost is due to the fact, apparently, that Superman, Henry Cavill, has a beard and a mustache he's contractually obligated to keep in Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
So they have to digitally remove it, which is part of what's informing that $25 million cost, because that's a shitload of money. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you got that you're playing with. And on top of that, too, is they're saying that a lot of it has to do with story consistency.
Yeah.
As far as like changing things as dialogue and story. So I don't know. I'm really, after I'm seeing Wonder Woman, I'm kind of like considering Justice League as a softball. You know, they're going to throw it to me. I'll take a swing at it. You know, if I don't connect and hit it over the fences, it's no big fucking deal. I'll just move on and just wait for the next one, you know.
I'm curious to see. This is what's interesting is that Joss Whedon walked away from Marvel because Age of Ultron kind of burned him out. And now he's getting in the middle of an even bigger shit show, it sounds like. You know what I mean? So if he rescues this, he'll have carte blanche, I believe.
Well,
know?
I think you got to read between the lines also with Whedon, too, is that Whedon has always on record said that, he loves the stuff Marvel's done with the stories. But as far as the visual aspects of DC and what Warner Brothers is doing, he said he's always liked that more than what Marvel's doing. And I agree with you, John. I think the thing with it is he's a highly creative guy. Writing this kind of shit is his forte.
Yeah.
And going in there, he might be able to be a guy that turns out to be like Kevin Feige.
Yeah. That would make a really interesting.
Yeah, I mean I think
DC
Jeff Johns and John Berg really are the Kevin Feiges, but I think Whedon could go in there and wield a lot of influence with these guys and kind of become the third member of the team, so to speak.
It's going to be we win. I'll put it to you that way.
That's it, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, no doubt. Kevin Feige has revealed why the Skrulls will be used as a main plot device for 1990s period movie Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel will be our 21st film in the cinematic universe, and we've never seen the Skrulls. How come? We thought it would be fun. There's an entire section of our comics that deal with the Kree-Skrull War, and we haven't tapped into that at all. And we thought that would be amazing. Huge part of the mythology to belong to Captain Marvel. I saw the leaked concept art. Well, not leaked. They finally released it. In fact, the artist who drew it said, I was kind of worried that it got leaked because everything's been so hush-hush. But Marvel has finally released the concept art of the Skrulls from Comic-Con. Looks like they walked off the page of the comic. Looks really fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds like an easy assignment.
They say we haven't seen the Skrulls, but for all we know, we have seen the Skrulls already.
Either that, or they're going to sow the seeds of how they were there the entire time.
I didn't. They also said she's not going to be in Infinity War.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I kind of figured that. I don't think that they're going to sit there and they're going to throw a character in like that has no introduction. I think they're holding out for her in Part 4.
Right.
So,
okay. I was just about to say, I mean, they threw Spider-Man in with no introduction, but he'd already had a very
good introduction.
Yeah.
Well, and you're talking about
movies.
Talking about Marvel's It character. I mean, you walk up to a common movie folk, and say, "Hey, do you know who Spider-Man is?" Fucking A, I know who Spider-Man is. Got bit by a radioactive spider and his uncle got killed.
Right.
You ever heard of Captain Marvel? Who? So.
Hey, speaking of, that's a news story that I didn't see in the feed here, and I'm going to bring it up because it's sort of related. The trailer for the upcoming Deadpool movie where he's changing in a telephone booth?
Yes.
And someone asked, based on a rumor, the director if that was Uncle Ben, and the director wouldn't answer. The old man that gets killed.
Old man that gets killed.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
I think that's a very entertaining notion.
Pretty funny. But I mean, as far as the Marvel stuff is concerned, I mean, I told you guys last week I'm kind of getting a little burn on it, but I said, I have to say the Captain Marvel movie I'm looking very forward to. I mean, a 1990s period movie I think would be pretty neat.
Yeah, I'm the Marvel tard of the group, I guess. I've pretty much liked everything they've released, so yeah, it goes without saying I'm in.
Including Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. All right, Eon Productions has announced that the next James Bond movie will be released on November 8th, 2019. Daniel Craig's return is not official, but it's believed that since this movie has a release date, the announcement of his return is imminent. I'd agree with that. I mean, I think that they're just kind of like hashing out deals and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him come back and get one more send-off.
His films have been great. Except Quantum of Solace. That was...
I thought Spectre was better than Quantum, but still,
It's all right. I mean, I'll put it to you this way. His collective works are more entertaining pound for pound than every one of Roger Moore's or, There's no Moonraker in there. Quantum of Solace is better than Moonraker.
Well, I mean, dude, but that's a sign of the times also. I mean, everybody, when Star Wars blew up, everybody had to make a fucking Star Wars movie, including James Bond, as horrible as it was. But, I mean, I think Craig has a shitty Bond movie, an okay Bond movie, and 2 fucking excellent Bond movies. And I'd like to see him come back and play the part. Denis Villeneuve, who's currently directing Blade Runner 2049. They say that he's actually met with the studio about directing the movie.
Wow.
But they don't believe they're going to get him because his next thing that he's developing is Dune.
Oh.
And please fucking do Dune. Stay away from Bond and do Dune.
Yeah.
I'm all about that
He's about
shit.
the only guy I would trust with that franchise. I mean, a lot of greats have tried and
You're talking about with Dune?
failed. Yeah.
I think that if you go back and you look at the sci-fi series they did and you combine it with Lynch's version, you could get a pretty fair adaptation of the property. But I think Villeneuve's version is going to be so true and so fucking awesome and intense. I can't wait to see it, man. I hope he does it. Because even that's not a sure thing. James Cameron has announced that he wishes to reimagine the Terminator franchise with a new trilogy.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, it's like I told you guys during the week. I hope that he combines the Terminator with Avatar, so I have two movies that I don't have to see and effectively kill two birds with one stone.
The Avatarminator.
Yeah, Blavatar meets the fucking Terminator, which is tired bullshit. Lionsgate is interested in a new script titled Ballerina. Ballerina is described as a stylized action movie featuring a female Russian assassin wishing to avenge the death of her family. Lionsgate is rumored to want to add this movie as a spin-off to the John Wick franchise. I mean, okay, so La Femme Nikita, I understand. I mean, dude, even Black Widow, Natasha Romanoff, I mean, that sounds like her. But I mean, dude, look, anything can be respun and reinvented. I mean, if it's good, I mean, dude, John Wick was good.
Yeah.
John Wick was great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was great.
I mean, if this is a similar team doing something like that, fuck, I'm in. I'll give it a try.
Yep.
The director of Atomic Blonde intimated that there could be a crossover with Atomic Blonde and John Wick.
After the reviews, I don't see that happening.
I don't know,
really?
dude. I mean, it's 80% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is not great, but it's not terrible. I mean,
80. I mean, that's a fresh tomato rating. Yeah,
well, certified fresh is 90 and above, but
okay.
but I mean, even hovering at 80, I mean, it's not terrible. So in other words, it's a C+ movie. You know,
I've heard a number of people talk very highly of it, so I've
heard a bunch of people talk about it very poorly also.
Oh, really?
So
okay.
I.e., my wife went and saw it and said, it's just all action. There's no story. I don't know why she was doing what she was doing.
You're rubbing off on her. So
yeah, right.
All right. Ron Howard tweeted about his happiness directing Warwick Davis after 30 years. Davis has been in every Star Wars movie since Return to the Jedi and was also the titular character in Willow. So Warwick Davis is now official for the Han Solo movie, which is no surprise.
No.
So
that's an interesting twist, though, because he wasn't part of it. So
Ron's been kind of slowly tweeting stuff out, and everything's been very quiet. And I mean, that's it. You know, I mean, they don't. You know, Kevin Smith said, as far as I'm concerned, any press is good press.
Right.
I think so in a way. I mean, I think that this is going to force more people into the theater, this controversy, but ultimately Lucasfilm doesn't want this. They want Star Wars to have a kind of sterling reputation.
Look,
you know,
when this movie comes out, no one is going to remember any of this news.
I kind of agree with you.
They're just going to go see and the common folk are just going to go see it. Oh, it's a Star Wars movie? I'm in. Oh, it's about Han Solo? I'm in.
Yeah.
What did you say, John? In Facebook time, 3 weeks is like 3 years, huh?
Right.
Yeah. So by the time we get to this movie, which doesn't come out for almost another year.
Oh my God.
You know, I mean,
there's
this is
going to
be
time. They're okay.
People are going to be talking about episode 8 till the cows come home. So.
And I have a feeling we're going to see that first Han Solo trailer play in front of episode 8. That's what I think is going to end up happening. It'll be 5 months away from release at that time. So I think that's when we're going to get the unveiling of the Han Solo trailer. All right, Hulu has jumped into the comic book adaptation arena and will produce a show based on acclaimed comic book The Runaways. Marvel TV executive Jeff Loeb has confirmed that it is connected to the MCU.
I'm going to go on record and say I don't care.
I mean, I think that's really pretty much kind of all of our opinion unless we hear like stellar reviews about it. Television is so oversaturated with comic book shows. I mean, unless you're a diehard fan and that's kind of all you watch. You know, I mean, it seems
even
to
if
me.
It's all you watch. I mean, even if you're a diehard fan, you still have a job. I mean, there are more comic book TV shows than I don't have the time to watch.
Yeah, I mean, shit, if you think about it, I mean, CW has 4, about to have 5.
Right.
You know, there's 4 that are on Netflix, which, I mean, the Netflix stuff's a little bit more accessible.
Yes.
They're short seasons, and you can binge watch them very quickly. But, I mean, still, though, that's 4 shows. You have Legion that's on FX. You have Gotham that's on Fox. You know, and what Cloak and Dagger is going to be on Freeform. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on ABC. Now you're going to have the Inhumans. I mean, fuck, we're almost to 20 shows. So, I mean, it's very difficult to watch all this shit.
The reason it gets too saturated and dies out is this reason right here.
Yeah.
Right.
The beginning of the end.
But, I mean, the good thing about it is, though, is that the cream always floats to the top. The stuff that's good and that stuff will survive.
Well, the only good thing about it being on Hulu is that it's not forced upon you. It's not ABC, CBS, NBC, or any of that stuff.
Right.
So you don't want to watch it, don't worry about it. You know, I mean, that goes for anything, but it's not, you know.
I agree. I'm getting ready to finish up the Netflix stuff. I'm in the process of watching that show Ozark. I'm halfway through it. As soon as I'm done with that, I'm going to go catch the stuff on Netflix that I haven't had a chance to watch yet.
Except Iron Fist.
I'm gonna watch Iron Fist. I'm gonna give it a go, man. I mean, I know it's dog shit, but I mean, it's kind of like I feel if I'm gonna watch The Defenders, you know. I mean, okay. I mean, why not? I mean, I want to watch it, and they're also saying that The Defenders is gonna finish his arc, whatever's left over from season 1 of Iron Fist.
Okay.
Oh.
They said they're gonna use Defenders to finish his arc, but season 2's already been announced. So there's already an Iron Fist season 2, the Luke Cage season 2, and Jessica Jones season 2 are currently filming.
I've talked to a lot of people that really like Iron Fist. I don't know why. I can't figure it out, but it apparently performed very well. So,
dude, there's people who watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
And they think it's fantastic because...
Which, by the way, I don't like. That was a cheap shot earlier.
Well
no, played,
that's all right.
but
that's all right. Me love you long time.
Yes.
But look, I mean, the whole thing it comes down to is, man, is it's another thing. It's you see the movies, you love the movies. Now take this part of it home, even though it's like the bone from the middle of the steak that doesn't even have the white shit left on it because it's been chewed to death. So I mean. That's pretty much it. I mean, it's like a boiled fucking bone. I mean, they even made broth with that shit and threw it on the ground, So, you are listening to Popcorn, Piss, and Vinegar.
Television.
Movies.
Pop culture.
Keep up with the latest news from Luke Skywalker all the way to Batman.
From Netflix to the CW.
And all the news in between.
Please subscribe and rate us on iTunes.
Or stream our episodes from PPVGuys.com.
You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter at PPVGuys.
Check out our friends Not Real Radio at NotRealRadio.com for our segment Not Real Movie News.
Should you listen to more? Yes. Will you agree? Maybe.
Jury's out.
Indeed.
Thank you for listening.
And action. Alrighty, so our show topic today is the battle for Christmas. And what we mean by that is that Star Wars came in and they announced in 2015 that they were going to have a Christmas release. And they've now followed that trend along for 3 years. In 2015, we had The Force Awakens. In 2016, we had Rogue One. This year, we're going to have The Last Jedi. But there's going to be now a shifting in 2018 to pull it away from Christmas and to move it into May.
May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you.
The 4th will be the 25th, I think.
Yeah, May the 22nd be with you, if I'm not mistaken. But the first person to kind of jump in this to 2018 is going to be Blavatar Part 2. So I think that was part of it. I think that they kind of had the inside that Jimmy Cameron was going to announce that he was going to put his sequel to Blavatar on the screen at Christmas time, which originally he did a January release for the first movie. No, it was a Christmas release because I remember seeing that. I saw it Christmas Day when it came out. So
close to then,
yeah. So I mean, you had that release, and he's going back after that Christmas date again. I think that Star Wars realized that it's really not good for either of those movies to release at the same time.
Is Disney releasing the Avatar? I can't remember.
Well, they have an Avatar
studio.
park.
They have an Avatar. I mean, they have shared interest in the movie. Obviously, they want it to do well because it brings people to the parks. But I mean, the thing about Avatar being released on whatever December 18 is that?
Yeah, I think it's December of 2018.
And it's 4 movies, right? 3
that
or 4.
still may not happen.
No, I mean, from what my understanding is, they're in principal photography.
Really?
So yeah, I think it's the full intention to release.
I just feel like
December
that.
of
I feel like he keeps saying, "Hey, we're gonna have a movie. Hey, we're gonna have a movie. Oh, it got pushed back.
True.
Hey, we're gonna have a movie.
Well,
oh, it got pushed back. Oh, by the way, I have 5 movies now. Oh, by the way, check it out. You got to bring. I don't know.
Well, unlike what other studios do, they come in there and they announce shit and they got things lock, stock, and barrel. James Cameron, kept on saying it's going to happen. It's okay, we're pushing back. It's going to happen. He never really put an official release date. Well, now when he came out and he stamped it, he said, okay, look, yes, it's going to happen, and this is going to be the date. I mean, yeah, Scott, anything can happen as far as production's concerned, but I think that they're pretty solid on that date. And Star Wars made the move, and as a result for 2019, Warner slipped right in and announced that Wonder Woman's going to be coming out on December 13th of 2019.
I'm reading that Avatar 2 is coming out in 2020.
Oh.
That's what it's saying.
So
December 18th, 2020.
Oh, I thought it was 2018.
Nope.
There you go. So Blavatar.
So then, who has the December 18 release?
I don't know. I don't know who has December of
2019 or
2018.
2018.
So
we have no 2018 release at this point.
There's always some looking into things, so to speak, and there's always these kind of like read between the lines fucking deal and shit. I think that Disney, the Christmas date really worked for them for Star Wars without question.
Yeah.
But the original intent was to release the movie in May. JJ is a hardcore fucking traditionalist when it comes to releasing these movies. And he was like, well, if I'm going to release Star Wars and I'm going to pay homage to these original 3 movies, I wanted to come out in fucking May like it originally did. So he had some production problems in addition to Ford breaking his leg, which pushed back things even further.
Yeah.
JJ was even reported, he said to Disney, let's push it to 2016. Disney said, fuck you. We want it now. We want it to come out like now. So when that started, they were like, well, let's make the concession. We'll release it in December of 2015. So,
do you
so
think
it was an accident,
do you
pretty
think
much.
they don't like splitting the year totals? We made
I think
$1 billion in December, but now we got to make $500 million in January.
I think James Cameron making an announcement for Avatar has something to do with it. But here's another thing too, and I mean, you can take this for what it is, and I kind of agree with this. In this report that I read, it said that Disney released Rogue One, and when they released Rogue One, with it releasing at December, excuse me, their merchandise campaign was actually fucked up as a result of it, because they tried to pimp a movie that had familiar themes, but nobody knew who the characters were.
Right.
So they didn't have as successful of a campaign with merch. I mean, fucking nerds went and bought everything, but the people that they want to sell that shit, to everybody.
Yeah.
They said they had a problem marketing a character like Jyn Erso or Cassian Andor or K2SO, and they said by releasing in May and doing these anthology movies, it's going to be able to give them a little bit more time to not only market the characters throughout the course of the year, but they'll also be able to drop a Blu-ray release of the movie and the merchandise at Christmas time, because everything sells at Christmas.
Exactly.
It'll give them enough time to add Ray back into the Monopoly game too.
Right.
Yeah, that really upsets me. They still haven't done that, and they said the reason why is because of lack of interest. I think that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense to me. Christmas time.
Yeah. Put out the toys.
Move your merch, and you need a little lead time, and so that makes perfect sense to me.
And especially since they're going to be in the parks now, that's just another avenue of more toys and stuff like that. People go to the Disney park during Christmas and they buy shit up.
Do we know anyone that's been to the Avatar park that's been over the moon about it?
I'll let you know.
Oh, you're going?
Yeah, you're going in December,
I'm going
aren't
in December. I'll let you know.
Oh, cool.
I've heard reports. The reports that I've heard is that you don't really you see stuff like kind of during the day, but when you really get the Avatar experience is when you go to the Animal Kingdom at nighttime. They flip on all the lights and all the trees look like the willows with the dangling shit in Avatar.
There's a ride. There's 2 rides. There's like a Soarin' type ride where you fly one of the animals, whatever it was called, and then there's
Did you have to like connect your dick to it to where you can connect to it?
It's not South Park, but then there's like a boat ride that takes you through like the Avatar world. But like you said, like during the day you see these plants during that thing, but at night, it's a whole other experience. But only in Animal Kingdom. It's only in Animal Kingdom.
Well, if you remember in Avatar, the blue cat people, they had the dangling tail that was effectively like a genitalia. And they use that to connect to other creatures. So I'm curious if there's like some kind of added experience if you pull your dick out of your pants and stick it on the animal.
I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm expecting that report.
You got it.
So, well, what it all comes down to is the battle for Christmas. I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of sitting here thinking about this shit. And when it comes down to these big releases that come at that time of year, I mean, I guess it's good because the kids are out of school. You get a good push for stuff in the theater, but it all boils down to the old thing. If you have a popular franchise that has a built-in fan base, you can really release it any time of the year.
You can, but it does take away from when everything comes out in May, and I mean everything comes out in May.
Yeah.
As a fan, like I am a fan. I want to see all the movies when they come out. But if I got to go to the theater every week, I don't want the money for it.
I think
quite honestly.
I mean, Spider-Man ended up getting his legs cut out from under him by Wonder Woman. Who'd have thought? But I think it's because it was in such close proximity. If it had been maybe 3 months away,
well, I
think
think
a month and a half.
Yeah,
I think also with Spider-Man 2 that hurt it as well is that you had a lot of big releases that came out. I mean, it was like all within a week. It was just like bang, bang, bang. Everything fucking hit. I mean, Wonder Woman comes out. 2 weeks later, Spider-Man comes out, but then Spider-Man's up against Planet of the Apes, which beat it on the second week, which actually surprised a lot of people. And then Dunkirk sweeps in a week after that, and it beats those two.
Yeah.
I mean, I missed Valerian, but fuck, Scott, I agree with you. I was in a theater. I mean, I go into the theater every Tuesday, but I added in an extra day to go see.
To fit in a movie.
Yeah, just to fit something in. I mean, we went and saw Planet of the Apes on a Tuesday, and I wanted to see Spider-Man, so we fit that on an extra day. I was actually going to do that with Valerian, but everything I read about it, I'm like, as much as I'd like to see this in a theater, I'm just going to wait because it's the extra money.
Same way.
Well, and the turnaround time for it between theatrical release and home video on demand is like 3 or 4 months now.
Oh, yeah. It used to be over a year.
Yeah. Like, there are points at which I'm like, by the time I can see this movie, it'll be on home video.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's
so
crazy.
I'm going to wait on Valerian, but I mean, that's it. I mean, it comes to the point to where you see so much shit. They claim that out of the summer movies, they say June is the month. That's the high competition month, June and July.
Well, it starts
But it starts
at the end of May.
It starts in May. And who started that actually was Star Wars.
Well, and that's fine. I get it, but everybody wants to be a copycat. It makes it tough.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's so much of a copycat thing as far as like copycatting properties, but I think the thing with it is blockbusters, especially at that time, Jaws and Star Wars in particular, Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Right.
Those are the movies that kind of pioneered the summer movie season. Traditionally, a lot of people didn't even go to the movies in the summer.
But now every tentpole is a
fucking A.
It's all a tentpole now.
Because there were really no big tentpoles before Jaws and Star Wars and Raiders of the Lost Ark and E.T. and all
Close
those movies.
Encounters.
Yeah, now it's like everything's a fucking event movie. So, but yeah, I mean, the question with it is, I mean, to leave it at this: is there a war for Christmas, or is that really just kind of in our heads?
Well, I think
Harry Potter will go and take that Christmas spot. Traditionally, they used to release their movies in November anyway. It makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 2 years worth of Christmas now that are fairly wide open.
Not really.
Yeah.
18. 19, we get Wonder Woman.
Yeah, 19's Wonder Woman, and then 2020's Blavatar. So.
Oh, okay. So
really
so next year.
We're only 1 year out. And who knows? Maybe they'll put
Well, I mean, it's not really a war if it's just one movie, right?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Well, it's not really a war of one movie, but it's the war for the slot, really.
Right, because if it's Star Wars, do you release a movie when Star Wars is getting released?
Fuck no, I don't release my movie anywhere near Star Wars.
That's why I'm wondering what's going to happen in the summer. If they come in with a May 25th release, who opens around it?
Yeah. Avengers, because dude, they said that when Han Solo comes out, it's only 3 weeks after Avengers, because Avengers 3 comes out May. It comes out like May 4th, which it's the Avengers traditional release date is the first week of May. They've been that for every movie. For one, Doltron, and now this one. It's always the first week of May, and Solo comes out like 3 weeks later. So I think another thing too is that it's Disney trying to control the summer. I think that's really where it comes down. They could say, okay, well, look, yeah, it is true that everybody's going to go in tentpole and all that crap, but look, if we dominate the summer and we control all that bullshit, we control the merch, we control the flow of media, we control all that shit, because our stuff is everywhere. It's all over. Avengers, Star Wars, Pixar, animated movies, live-action retellings of other shit they do. I mean, it's fucking crazy, man.
I agree, but I feel like they're cutting their legs off by doing that.
Well, once we see those box office receipts roll in, that's going to tell us the whole story. And Scott, you could be right, man. I mean, there's no telling. We'll have to see how it plays out.
Because there is a variable of them having established now a Christmas routine, where the whole family can go and watch Star Wars, right? So it may end up kneecapping them in the end.
I'm actually bummed that they moved Star Wars. Man, it was I started to like that shit, man. Look, we're getting ready to get in the holidays. Everything's clearing up with the family, all that shit. You're getting all your plans together for the holidays and all. And right before you kick into the holiday festivities, a week before that shit, I get to see fucking Star Wars.
Right.
I mean, that's like it's a high note for me. I'm a big fan of that franchise. So, I mean,
turns December into a really awesome month.
Like for me,
man.
Especially for the past two releases, I had, a few days left of my off day, pocket that I had to burn by the end of the year. So I would go burn a Star Wars day. It's like, hey, it's Star Wars Day. I'm taking off. Yeah. And I would take off and go watch it in the morning and,
hate it later.
Yeah, hate it later.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, I mean, it's I loved it, man. I mean, it was great. I got to see Episode 7 under pretty phenomenal experience, under pretty phenomenal circumstances.
Which time? You saw it like 8 times.
Yeah, I saw it like 3 times, but that wasn't from me. That was from the fucking chucklehead I was with, my buddy Nate. So, no, yeah, like Nate surprised me. Like he walked in and he's like, "Look, man, we got we have like a no trailer, like jump right into the fucking movie and watch it." He said, and then I got like 2 additional tickets for showings the next day. I knew we were going to go see it again, but I didn't expect to see it that many times. But hey, look, I was happy. We got to sit down, watch it. You watch it one time, and then the second time you watch it, you get to look for all the little shit. So, I mean, I don't regret it. It was fantastic. And then Rogue One the next year, I got to see that with my fiance and some other friends up the bayou, so it was cool. Czar. Got to hear a lot of, hey, and all of that, when shit was blowing up, so got a lot of coon ass during that experience. So, and I was really happy. I only had to tell somebody to shut the fuck up once. So
there you go.
It was an all-around great experience. So
there it is.
All righty. Well, do we have anything to add?
Nope.
No.
All right. Well, cool enough, man. Look, we appreciate you guys listening. Please jump over to iTunes and subscribe. If you're a true fan of the show, please write a review. 5 stars only. Also, jump over to our YouTube channel. You can give us the thumbs up there and write a review as well. We also invite you to go to Popcorn, Piss and Vinegar, PPVGuys.com. Check out our previous episodes, and also, hang out on our social media. We're on Instagram. We're also on Twitter. So you can follow us there at PPVGuys. Thank you so much for listening, and see